I am definitely in my happy place. Just look behind us. It came out so amazing. Well, this makes for an awkward intro. And the amount of these guys that I have had to deal with is absolutely astronomical. Let me have my boat back, please. But yeah, this is my new happy place on the server. The vibe is just unreal here. What is up, guys? I'm ArtistBuilt, and welcome back to another episode here on the Project Bedrock server. On today's episode, we are going to be working on a massive project over in the shopping district. But before we do, I do want to jump in and do a quick recap over here and show you guys some of the things that we were working on over at the King of the Hill minigame. Not much has changed inside of here, as you can see, but what I have changed is a little bit of the redstone. If you remember from the last episode, I was saying that these note blocks here did not transmit enough sound to go all the way throughout the arena, so whenever you were in one of the 4 hills, you really could barely hear these things. That's not good because we obviously want to be able to know whenever the game ends. So what I have done is taken these and I have put 4 more inside of the game, and each one of the 4 are directly located in each of the 4 hills. And if you're wondering what that sounds like, it sounds a little bit like this. Pretty cool, right? Now you can hear it regardless where you're at inside of the minigame. Some of the other stuff that I have done includes putting some books in, and this is basically just going to go over how to play the game, and then this one over here is going to go over all of the rules of the game. I also ended up closing this up back here where the spectator area previously was. I figured that that was kind of a bad area, so I ended up adding it to the front lobby here. So if you want to go into spectator mode, you can just walk on the carpet, and we have a spectator stand down below. And on the left side, if you want to get out of spectator mode, you just go over here, and that'll take you out of spectator mode. We do also have some barrels here where you can return all of the gameplay items that you get inside of the minigame, because we want to keep all of these inside of the minigame and not have members taking them out. So let's jump into spectator mode, and we are going to go out here, and before we go any further, we are actually going to turn on RTX. And that is because I have recently got my RTX back together and working. I had to do quite a few updates due to the 1.20, so you're probably going to see some RTX inside of this episode. Let me know how you guys like having RTX inside of the episode. If you prefer it, if you don't like it, let me know down inside of the comments below. Now, the specific RTX pack is going to be the PBR pack made by Madlad, and it is also running with better RTX as well. So if you guys want to download that and get it for yourself, it is down inside of the description below. But now that we're done promoting, let's take a look at the King of the Hill minigame. This thing has come out so much better than I ever thought it would, and I can only thank all of the members that have worked so many hours putting this thing together. I'm at a loss for words. It really is a cool build, not just from the looks of it. It looks absolutely amazing from any viewpoint, but just the overall functionality and how this game is going to play. I am super excited for it, and I think the members and I are going to have such a great time playing it. So if you've been following this minigame, what do you like about it? What would you change? Do you have any critiques? Let us know down inside the comments below. But with that being said, we have a whole lot to get done inside of this episode, so let's head on over to the shopping district because we have a massive project ahead of us. So over inside of the shopping district, there is a few things that I wanted to get done, and I think the best way to show you is going to be to jump into spectator mode, which I think Puggy left the spectator stand right here, so let's jump into here and get an aerial view. So what I want to do is bring this road around, and I want this to make kind of a gradual turn to the left, and then it's going to make a gradual turn to the right. That way we can have this road go over and kind of come across between both of these little hills. This is going to be part of making this area a little bit more lively. I do have some stuff planned over there, and then some of the stuff planned over here as well. But that's going to be for future episodes. I do at least want to get the road put in today, and then I also want to get a shop built over here at the very front. And as you can see, I got some signs over here to where I'm going to be building a little fishing hut. This fishing hut is going to be where I'm selling all of the Guardian farm drops, and I'm thinking that I'm just going to have it connected to this little pathway here, and then that might come around. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. I did play around a little bit on a testing world, but I ended up losing that copy, so I think what I'm going to do is just freehand it and see how it goes. The other thing that I want to work on, which might not be on this episode today, but we're going to be building way back here, because I want to expand the shopping district down and around over here closer to Winter Wonderland, and that's going to involve bringing this road down and over, which I think Gigi is going to take care of. And then inside of this area over here, as you can see, I have some more signs, and apparently there's a rainbow sheep there. I'm going to be building a giant mine site, which is going to be filled full of stone, cobblestone, a bunch of different ore types, and things like that. I did do some planning on stream whenever I was coming up with a concept for this, and whenever I did, I ended up making a giant mining hole that went all the way down to bedrock, which looked really good.
And whenever I did it, I discovered that there's actually a little mob spawner here, which happens to be a skeleton mob spawner, which I'm thinking that we could use in order to kind of make a little XP farm. That way, whenever people are hanging out at the cobblestone or stone generator, it will automatically mend their tools. Now, I do apologize for bouncing around so much as of lately. I know I have been over at the factory doing a ton of work and then ended up doing a ton of work over at the minigame district. Both of these are very big projects, and in order for me not to lose interest in them, I really need to divert my attention and take a break from them occasionally, like the factory and the minigame district. So now we're going to be building some of the shops over here inside of the marketplace district, and the real purpose and goal of this is to kind of get all of this stuff out of the warden and some of the stuff out of the redstone shop there. That way we don't have everything clustered together. I would really like to have more themed shops that people can go to and know exactly what that shop's going to have inside of it just by looking at it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into a time lapse and get started building. Let's go!
I absolutely love it. I cannot believe how well this has come together and turned out. Over here to the right, we have a white floating dock. Behind that floating dock, we have a little skiff style boat. Over to the left, we have a nice long dock going out in the ocean. I am definitely in my happy place. Just look behind us. It came out so amazing. Well, this makes for an awkward intro. And the amount of these guys that I have had to deal with is absolutely astronomical. Let me have my boat back, please. But yeah, this is my new happy place on the server. The vibe is just unreal here. And it is only going to get better whenever we add in some avatars. That way it brings new life to the area. We have the little skiff style boat over here, which I think came out absolutely amazing. We have the floating dock, as stated before. We have this little pier that goes out here, got some barrels at the end. And then over here we have our own fishing boat. And this did take me a couple tries to get it right. As you saw, I did build it a little too close to the dock on the time lapse and had to use some pistons to push it back. That way I didn't have to rebuild the entire thing. Cool little trick that I've learned over the years. But yeah, just your basic ocean running fishing boat. We have the control room inside of here with a steering wheel, some throttle, and of course a lantern so you can see whenever it gets dark. And then if we go down below, underneath the deck, we have the crew rooms down here to where all of the crew would sleep. And then back here we have a bathroom. Up on the dock and also over on the beach, we also have a bunch of trash cans because, well, it's very important that your trash goes inside of the trash can instead of out inside of the water because we want to keep this place real nice and clean. We have a wash and sink over here. That way whenever you get done on a real long day fishing or out on the boat, you can wash up and get clean before going into the shop. And then I'm still working on the interior of this place, and as you can see I got some shulker boxes and whatnot inside of here, but it has a nice little cozy cabin feel. And then we also have Fisherman Joe over here. As you can see, the RTX pack that I'm using kind of has a bug to where the bottom of his hat kind of blocks his face. But with my current standing of villagers, I really don't mind not seeing their face. But yeah, it is kind of a silly bug, and it does make them look a little bit on the wonky side. But we have the counter made up of barrels, and this is where we're going to be storing a bunch of the merchandise. We might put some more merchandise outside, dotted around inside of the barrels as well. It really depends on how much stuff I find to sell inside of this shop. Out here we also have some more barrels stacked up. We have a really cool little fishing tank here, and this is basically to hold all of the bait fish. Well, they're supposed to be bait fish. They're kind of big for bait fish, but you get the idea. Coming down to the entrance of the fishing cabin, we have some nice seating here where people can sit down and enjoy the view, enjoy the beach, and maybe even enjoy some snacks from the fishing shack. Not entirely sure what to call this. It could be a fishing shack, a fishing shop. Around the parts where I'm from, we call them a bait shop, but I'm sure this probably changes depending on your area. But you get the idea. Walking down onto the beach, we have a anchor off to the side, which I kind of wanted to fill in this area a little bit and add something that would be kind of cool. Now, unfortunately, the copper doesn't have any of the copper wall, so I ended up having to settle with the prismarine. Prismarine can be kind of difficult to build with because a lot of people don't know prismarine actually changes color, and it will cycle between like a lighter green and also a... Nothing to see here. You're interrupting my video. As I was saying, a lot of people don't know this will cycle between kind of like a lighter blue and a blue-green. Which whenever it's blue-green, it looks really good. Whenever it's lighter blue, not so much. But with the limited blocks that we have and not having any walls for the copper, missed opportunity, Mojang. We really have to use what we can in order to accomplish what we're trying to build. What in the world is going on with my ice cream truck? Alright, much better. It looked like the ice cream truck was full of like radioactive waste or something. Just your typical RTX bug, I suppose. But where was I? Back to the tour. Like I said, we have this anchor, which I think adds a really cool touch. We have this old kind of downbeaten path that's kind of been weathered, probably from multiple storms. And this path would follow along all the way over here, kind of going along the beach. Speaking of beach, I ended up taking this beach and going further out in the ocean. I don't want you to leave. Get out of here. And this was really a big grind because I had to terraform all of this and bring this all out. But I really don't think that the area would look nearly as good unless I did that. I also added in a cool little pond here, or as we like to call them, a wave pool. And then also the dunes going all along the back side. Don't mind the shulker box, I still do need to clean up. Now this fireplace, I did have it extinguished, but I think somebody come along and relit it whenever they were checking out the beach. We also have a bunch of towels draped out over the beach. We have some umbrellas that are up, and as you can see, typically we would have kind of a picnic table underneath these umbrellas, but some people must have been late at night. They decided to pull the chairs over here and start a fire out on the beach, which is pretty common. And it looks like the people the next day probably took advantage of it, and they're like, hey, here's a nice shady spot. We'll go ahead and put our towels down underneath. But as stated before, we have some trash cans here. That way we keep the beach nice and clean, aside from wandering traders. I mean, look at this. We have it spread all over the place. These guys ruin everything. We have another trash can over here. We have apparently some stuff on the ground where people can't use the trash can properly. Shame on you. A chest that I've been using for building that will be cleaned up eventually. We have another picnic table area over here underneath the umbrella, and I've really tried hard to kind of add things here and there. That way the first time that you're here you might miss something, but the second time you might catch it. Get out of here, I hate you guys. Now one thing that is really cool, and I'm proud of this ice cream truck because I ended up building this from scratch and I think it came out really good. Now it would have probably come out better if we actually had some slabs that were able to be made out of concrete, but you know, I gotta use what I have. But this is inspired from an ice cream truck from my hometown. And we have a bunch of signage going on. We are open daily. We also have flavors in the back. We got toppings in the back. We got some legal jargon saying that, well, whatever you get here might contain nuts. We also have some specials on the board, some regulars. And then if we come around to the front of it, we have a grill, some headlights. And then if we come around to the back, we have a door to access the back of it. And we also have a loading back door with some tail lights. I think it really came out cool. Now, one thing that I do really like that I have to take out of RTX mode to show you is going to be the banners. How cool are these banners? Now, I don't typically make banners. I might get into it in the future, but these are not my design, and I saw that these were made by multiple people, so I don't know who the original designer of these are. However, the video that I got these from is Minecraft Workbench, so a shout out to Minecraft Workbench for showing how to make these on his channel. If you're interested in these, his channel link will be linked down below. Look at that view with the sun setting behind the fishing shack. Like I said, this place came out better than I could have ever imagined. Let me know what you guys think about this down inside of the comments below, and let me know what you guys would change, if anything. It really was a really cool project to work on, and I really do hope that you guys enjoyed it. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do all the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe if you have not, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.